Hello everybody, happy Wednesday, happy scoping out. I'm so glad you're here today. We're talking about something that is, I think, pretty much relatable by anyone and everyone with a pulse, especially in the Western society. We're talking about money, honey, and what to do when that scarcity mindset just plays on repeat. Oh, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm not going to be able to make it. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Triffany Hammond, in case you don't already know. It's just like Tiffany with an R, and you can learn more about me at triffanyhammond.com. I'm a certified professional life coach, and I help people with the trappings of success. Add in that happiness piece, because we need happiness. I don't know why I said that so seriously, but there it is. That's what I do. So there. The reason we're talking about money today, remember these scopes are different from the inside scopes, which happen on the third Thursday of every month. This is me just sharing with you the crap that comes up in my life. Yeah, I'm a certified professional life coach. I am still a human being, and this stuff still comes up for me. And I've gotten more feedback off of my personal stories saying, you too, oh my God, if it's happening to you, then I don't feel so bad it's happening to me, so that I share these this way. And this money thing came up for me in a big way recently. It's very interesting. So let me tell you how this all happened, and I'll tell you how my scarcity story got on repeat, and then I'll tell you how to fix it, because just this morning I had such a breakthrough. It's so good. So we have a tendency, don't we, to look at things through problems to be solved. It's called a negativity bias. You hear me talk about it all the time. We're pre-wired with it. It's not our fault. We can change it though, and oftentimes, a lot of the work that we do here together in scoping out or as a member or a student of conscious transitions, wherever you're at, is helping us rewire our brain to be able to focus on or create a new default for positivity instead of negativity, right? So money is one of those big ones. Boy, it hits triggers quickly. Now, summer for me is my most expensive time of year from a personal perspective. And last year, I don't know if you remember or not, but I changed a lot of stuff about my business. Everything that I'm doing, I'm trying to get out there in a bigger way to a stranger market, to more and more people. It was really a leap of faith for me to do that, because in redesigning what I'm doing digitally, I've put a lot of my other efforts on hold. And it was scary for me. And because I'm still building this business, a lot of my money, almost all of the money that I make, goes right back into my business. And everything else is on a tight budget. Okay, so having said all of that, I got the opportunity to host a foreign exchange student. Now, if you remember correctly, I told you before, I don't make decisions. I don't. I follow my instincts. I follow my body. I follow the wisdom that comes to me when I'm in alignment with, when my mental self, emotional self, spiritual self is in alignment with my physical self. I feel my way through life. This is so true. This was no exception, because what happened for me was an illogical decision. But my body said yes. Everything about this situation said yes. So despite all of my fears about money and knowing that summer's expensive and that I still am building up my business in a new way and all of those things are still true, I said yes to a French foreign exchange student. Now, I'm so excited. I'm so excited he's going to be here. I can't wait. And I personally want to move to France someday, or Spain maybe. But, to have someone in my home that can help me with the language, and I'm just super excited to meet him. He's a 15-year-old kid. He's going to be great. I'm so excited. Well, it's also another mouth to feed, and another admission ticket to everything we do, and right, like I immediately had my scarcity story, all of my old poverty thoughts, especially from childhood. I don't know if you know my story or not. You can go look at my article, How I Forgave My Father the Murderer, where I grew up with a single mom. A lot of times we didn't know what we were going to be eating for the night. I have a huge body of proof for scarcity, and it sticks in your subconscious, especially from childhood, especially from those fundamental years, right? So my scarcity story starts running. Oh my God, it's going to put me to the poorhouse if I feed him. Oh my God, how am I going to make sure that he has everything he needs on top of my kids? And oh my gosh. And during the day, it was fine, because I use my tools. Everything I teach you, I use myself, right? But this stuff starts to come up in the middle of the night, right? You're sleeping just fine. Boom. Scarcity thought wakes you up. And then you can't shut your brain off, and you lay there and you lay there. So let's see, I made this decision. I was presented with the opportunity on Monday. By Wednesday, I had said yes. By Friday, I knew I was going to have to do something a little bit above and beyond my normal tools of visualization. I needed something physical, something new, something metaphorical, something that would go to my subconscious. Your subconscious thinks in symbols, okay? So a lot of times metaphors get through to your subconscious a lot quicker than some of your visualizations do, because what was happening for me is I couldn't visualize an abundant summer. I couldn't. Every time I tried to visualize us taking a little road trip to Vegas, or remember I'm in Colorado, that's actually possible here. Every time I started to visualize that, I immediately started trying to figure out, well, was that going to go on a credit card? I don't want to use my credit cards. I avoid credit cards at all costs, by the way. So I just started I couldn't get myself to the place where I could imagine abundance and feel abundance. So with the help of a friend of mine, I made this little vision card that is a metaphor for my abundance. Remember, the subconscious thinks in symbols. This is the card. So you can see it's actually a garden. It has the word fortune, right? But you notice there's not a whole lot of lush things on there. There's not there is lush things. There's lush garden, but it's not piles of money and rich, expensive clothes and cars and things like that. That's not what it is. The feeling of abundance for me is as of being in bloom. Now, I've layered these pictures in such a way it's hard to tell, but underneath those hydrangeas is a whole separate picture that is a big vat of water that holds lilies, which is a symbol for peace. So what I'm trying to send to my subconscious is that I want this abundance to come in a peaceful way. And then I did something else on the back. And it's on the back for a reason. This is a little easel thing, but you can see how there's people creating this garden. Notice these people don't look like me. Nobody I know. The reason I have this in here is because I have the desire to have this money come to me in ways that I don't know. I want help with my business. I want help in everything that I'm creating, and I don't need to know where it's going to come from. I don't need to know ahead of time who it's going to be. I don't need to know any of those things in order for me to reap the benefits of my bloomin' fortune, my bloomin' abundance, right? My bloomin' bounty. This is the words that have been coming to my mind about all of this. This has transformed the way I've been able to visualize my money. Because when I was trying to visualize having enough money to do everything, immediately my logical brain, my limited mind, if you've worked through any of my materials, you know the limited mind is this very conscious, real world, physical world, compare and contrast kind of mind. Every time I tried to visualize, that part of my mind was trying to solve the problem. Okay, if we're all going to Elitch's, how's that getting paid for? How's that happening? Right? So I couldn't get past that scarcity. It would just confirm to me that I might be broke this summer. Broke, right? Broke. But it's my story, and it comes up for the best of us. And don't judge me. Some of my clients who have had the most abundance in their life have the scariest scarcity stories. No judgment. We all go through this. So what happens is I started replacing this visualization with this metaphor. My conscious mind couldn't do anything with it. It was all up to my expansive mind, that higher mind, that highest self, that part that knows things that your conscious mind doesn't. It might even just be your subconscious mind that's really in alignment with who you are beneath the veneer, right? So I wanted to get to that level. I wanted to get to that subconscious mind. So Friday night I made this. Saturday, middle of the night. Sunday, middle of the night. Probably exacerbated by the fact that it was my son's birthday. Probably exacerbated by the fact that I'm ready to do the next stage of my book, which is going to cost more money. Like things are just piling on, right? Well, last night it happened. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night. So now we're down to 4 nights after I created this metaphor. So it took a little while, didn't it? But what happened this morning about 3 a.m. when those scarcity thoughts came in, what happened is I was able to use this metaphor again, just as I've been doing, and it got through and I felt it click. And the moment I felt it click, I could then visualize what it would be like to have all the money I wanted and or needed for my business, for my book, for my kids, for this foreign exchange student, for my future, for my yard, for everything. Do you understand? And the reason that is so important to feel that click and be able to visualize that future is that is something that genuinely changes absolutely everything about your money story. It creates such a change in your belief system that you begin to show up differently. You begin to show up in a way that now has energy and excitement and curiosity and playfulness. People actually want to help you. You actually want to go that extra mile. That thing that you know is your purpose, but some days it's really hard to struggle for. Once you have this little shift, suddenly it's worth the struggle. And then you are actually creating the opportunities to bring in extra money. And it could be through your job. It could be through a friend. It could be through something completely unseen. You guys, this has worked for me over and over and over again. I've had, I used to be a currency trader. I had an account at one point that I had completely forgotten about that was lost assets or something like that. They tracked me down and gave me my money. I had no idea that money was even sitting in there. I had no idea that that was even going to come my way. And it took just this little shift so that my belief system could believe I had money coming. My belief system could believe that it didn't have to always be up to me. Remember what was going on the back of the card, right? All of that invisible help, all of that stuff that I didn't know is there. And that's why I want to make sure my subconscious is aware that it doesn't have to be all on me. And this is huge for me because if you've been watching these for a while, the all on me is part of my story, right? It's all up to me. It's always on me. It always falls to me. Ugh. This doesn't have to be this way. So for you at home, you might want to start thinking about what your metaphor would look like. And if you don't know, that's okay. Do what I did. Grab a magazine, right? Grab a magazine with the intention in mind to just go, okay, what's going to make me feel abundant? What's going to make me feel like I've got money coming? What's going to make me feel not poor, right? And for me, remember, it was this image. It was this idea of things being in bloom, stuff that is a natural part of the cycle that, yes, with some encouragement and some love and the right nutrients and a little bit of time and effort, but really it's in its right cycle. That's what struck a chord for me. And it took that symbol to get to my subconscious. So play with this. I'm going to continue to play with it. I'm going to tell you how this all goes. Now I'm actually today, excited in more ways than I originally was to have this French foreign exchange student come. No, this isn't, okay. Sounds like law of attraction. This is a little different. I mean, it is kind of law of attraction stuff. Here's, it might be. I walk a thin line when I start talking about things like this because I am not entirely sure that the materials that are out on law of attraction are really either, I don't know if it's in their presentation or if it's in the Western mind's understanding of them. But there's a piece missing, and I can feel it. And I'll tell you why. I actually took a quantum physics course. And when you get down into I need to take it again. I don't fully understand it. I will take it again. There's something, when you get into the science of it and the math of it, you do start to see where law of attraction got its scientific premise. You do start to say, oh, okay, I can see how they got there. And there's also, there's something missing in there about the way the LOA stuff is presented is almost has a magical feel. A very, just think positive and positive things will happen. Well, thinking positive doesn't change the belief system, which is why this was so important for me, right? I had to get to my belief system, not just my thoughts, right? And when we believe, yes, things change. Our body chemistry changes, our behavior changes, our subconscious comes into alignment and begins to work with our conscious mind. And those are the things that I think that either we don't fully understand or the LOA people who deliver it don't fully understand how to deliver it in a way. I believe it's science, I guess is the point I'm trying to get to. That's where I'm trying to get to with this. So yes, kind of law of attraction. And if that's a verbiage and that's a language that works with you and you get it, I'm not here to talk you out of it. Go for it. LOA, all the way. Absolutely. I'm just saying that what I'm talking about here is there's nothing magical about it. It's actually the way that the neurons fire with new ideas and new thoughts compared to old patterns, old established patterns. To me, it's science. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to waffle at all. I'm just not trying to stake any claims of being an LOA expert or anything like that. I'm just saying, for what, magic or science, it doesn't matter. This shit works. That's my point. Yeah, I don't care what you call it, right? Not even a little bit. Call it whatever you want. This shit works. And I guess that's what I'm trying to get to. Does that make sense? I hope that's helpful. Okay. Good. So for those of you who didn't have a chance to answer your questions, come back and ask them in the comments on the video or the blog, or send me an email. I don't care. Let's stay in touch about this stuff, because the more we increase this consciousness together, the more we increase our belief systems for one another, it actually increases the power of all of this work for us. So I would love to see what you're working on. I would love to be able to share what I'm working on. So let's do this. Let's open source our abundance and help everyone get bigger, stronger, richer, faster. All right. So today, if you're a member, come to group coaching. If you're in the Denver area, come this Saturday, the second Saturday, to the Denver Divorce Workshop. You can go to denverdivorceworkshop.com. Next Wednesday, scoping out again, 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time, and we've got office hours for conscious transitions after that. And next Thursday is the Inside Scope. So send me your questions. Those are a lot more fun if you send me your questions. You can send those to tiffanyhammond.com/the Inside Scope. So before I go, because you always know I have one last little parting thing that I love to share. I asked for this. I put out a call before this opportunity with this exchange student even came up, and I said, I put out this intention to whatever. Call it God, call it universe, creator, my subconscious. I don't care. Again, I don't care what you call it. If it works, it works, right? I really seriously don't care. But I put this sort of intention out there to help me identify and release with grace and ease my money blocks. Whatever this was going to be for me, I knew I needed it to come to the surface. I needed to be able to identify it. And that's the day after I made this request was the day I was presented with this opportunity to host. And in saying yes, I had no idea this was the answer to that call. I had no clue. So when these things happen for you, when you do follow your instincts and then you feel like they kind of bit you in the ass a little bit, go back. Ask yourself, how is this perfect? How did I call this to me? Where am I in this? Somehow I brought this to me. How can I use it for my good, right? I specifically asked to see my money blocks. I specifically asked to be able to see these with grace and ease. Right? So this could have come up in the form of a ticket. This could have come up in the form of a HOA fee. I don't know. This could have come up in a way that actually hit my pocketbook deep and hard and forced me to identify my fears, forced me to use a metaphor, forced me to do something to change my belief system. Or, like most people do, just get more scared, right? But because I asked for this, it came to me with grace and ease. It came to me with this opportunity that is going to not just put my money stuff in front of me and help me work on it, but expand my worldview, expand my horizons, expand the worldview of my children, right? Meeting so many more needs all at the same time. You see how pretty that is? Do you see how nice that is? So when you are faced with these things that bring up all of these fears, don't run and hide from them. Go back and see, did I ask for this? Is this actually an answer for something that I had a question about? Because remember, we aren't granted patience. We're giving tribulations to practice patience. The same is true of any of these things, right? These negative, they're not. They're really positive. They're just painful. These painful experiences are our teachers. They are our opportunity to develop and hone and grow ourselves into abundance, into love, into compassion, and all of those things. So go out there and ask those questions of yourself when you're hit with your painful stories. And then I want to know how that turns out for you. So please stay in touch with me. Let me know how it all goes. Send me your comments. Send me your questions. I can't wait to hear from you. And I'll see you next week at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time here on Scoping Out. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.